And here after this, Karpov takes on e2 and Polgar takes back with the bishop. And after this, Karpov defends this d5 pawn by his rook. But guys, let's go back to this move which is queen to b3. And here it's better for white to capture this bishop with the king, not with the bishop. This is because after king takes e2, and this position is now better for white. This is because in the next move you can see that white can go for this rook to e1, so that white can bring his king to g1. And which ensures the safety of this king. But why I am saying this? This is because of this is because after this bishop takes e2 here. After this bishop takes e2, in this position here Karpov can actually sacrifice his knight by knight takes d4. This is because after takes, simply queen takes c1 check. So that's why I am saying that capturing with the king might be a better option, because then you will see that this bishop can be easily protected by this rook. Okay, so in the actual game, after rook to d8, and that's an inaccuracy. Instead, capturing this bishop might be the better option. This is because now black can simply capture this bishop by bishop takes g5. This is because after knight takes g5, now comes h6, attacking this knight, and after knight goes back, we will simply push our pawn further to g5, and after this, we can continue our development. Okay, so after the move h5, here Karpov also missed this move, and he goes for and that's a mistake by Karpov, because this blocks the route of this knight. Instead, he must consider capturing this bishop. And in this position, Polgar sacrificed his bishop by bishop to g5. And suppose if black captured this bishop, now comes knight takes g5, which is threatening knight to e6 fork. And obviously black cannot play queen to d7, because then white will simply brings his bishop to g4, which attacks this queen. And by this black will be gone. So that's why here the only move for black is to move his king. And finally you can see white can capture this g6 pawn, taking benefit of this spin. And if black tries to attack this knight, now comes g7, and this is a completely losing position for black, because obviously you cannot capture this pawn with the king due to the knight e6 threat. So that's why here the only move for black is to bring this rook to h7, and after this simply knight takes h7 check, and at the end you can see white is winning. But guys, in the actual game, after bishop to g5, after this move, here Karpov also shocked everyone by playing bishop takes g3, and obviously you cannot capture this. Suppose if takes, simply queen takes g3 check, and after king to d2 simply f takes g5, and black will be better. So that's why after bishop takes g3, here Polgar decides to give a check. But guys, here queen to d2 might be the better option for white, so that black can't place his queen to f4. Maybe he wants to bring his another rook to f1, but queen d2 might be the better option for white, so that he can keep an eye towards this f4 pawn. As you can see, here black is preparing for knight to b4 check, taking benefit of this pinned pawn. And now white is threatening to capture this e4 pawn, and this is because suppose if black is not careful and he plays any other move, like suppose b5, he tries to expand towards this king side, but now in this position white can actually sacrifice his knight by knight takes e4. This is because after takes, simply rook takes e4 check, and after king to f7, and now white can sacrifice his another rook by rook takes f5 check, and if you takes, queen takes f5 check, king to g7, rook to g4 check, queen to g6, and after this rook takes g6 check, h takes g6, and clearly you can see that this position is completely equal because black have two rooks instead of a queen. Okay, so let's see what will happen suppose after this move rook takes e4. Suppose if black tries to play this move which is king to d8, now again white can sacrifice his rook by rook takes f5. This is because after takes, rook to d4, pinning this queen and this king, and now black is forced to capture this rook, and after takes, and at the end you can see black has two rooks against this queen, and this position is completely equal. Okay, so in the actual game after queen to h3, that's why Karpov decides to bring his rook to c7. And the best way to tackle this knight e6 threat is simply giving a check from this rook, but Karpov made a mistake by playing king to c7. And in the next move, white will go for b4 so that he can bring his queen to c5. And the best way to tackle is simply playing b6, which stops queen to c5. But here Karpov made a mistake by playing rook to f7. He wants to give a check from f1 square, but in this position, can you find the only move which can save this game for white? Here the move is c4, and now white is threatening to play rook takes d5, which attacks this queen. So that's why after takes, now comes rook to d4, attacking this, and by this you can see that now this game is completely equal. But after rook to f7, he missed that move and instead he plays b4. as I told that, so as I told you that black wants to give a check from c5 square, but black can easily defend this by playing b6. But instead of b6, here Karpov brings his queen to e7, and that's also a mistake because this queen on e5 is in a very good position, which is targeting this c3 pawn whenever this queen moves. And now it's better for white to go for rook to g2 with the idea of rook to g7, which can make black quite uncomfortable for some time. But instead he blunders by playing rook to c2. Why this is a blunder? Because now this king can simply go to this b8 square, and after this you can see no one can attack this king. And in this position, Polgar resigned due to after king to b2, simply rook to b3 checkmate. Like this video and also make sure to subscribe to this channel. This is your host Bison signing off. Bye bye.